Are we on? Good. Welcome to the Better Than Not podcast. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. But when we at least do something, we know it's almost always better than not. Get it?
Sure.
Hi there, and welcome to Better Than Not, the podcast that aims to capture shifting perspectives and thought-provoking ideas in conversation. Based loosely on my series, Changing Frame of Reference, which you can read on the Substack app. And I hope you will, as it might give you some insight into what this podcast is all about. I'm your host, Doug Gardam, and today I get to welcome back a returning guest. We always have a good conversation. He goes by William C. Cole, but I call him Bill. Bill, how are you?
Hi, I'm Will. And you, Douglas?
I'm doing great. I didn't even ask you whether you like to be introduced the same as last time, but I'm going to introduce you. Bill and I actually met for the first time at a book event, and we've met a few times at a book event in Sudbury chapters or Indigo chapters in Sudbury. I don't know necessarily what their name is. Bill is an author, he's a writer, he's a director, he's an actor. You may have seen him in a recent feature film called Magnetosphere, which we'll no doubt talk a little bit about. But I'm excited to talk to Bill because he's got a lot of history. He's been through the entertainment business for years, and he's been a business owner. So I was going to say he kind of knows all the different things that kind of go on. And you've seen a lot over the years, Bill.
Oh, yeah, I have. Yeah.
And you keep seeing it, according to what I last saw on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say, it's never too late. You're
Well,
never too old.
The funny part was I named our last podcast something to the effect of Life is a Carnival.
Yeah.
And you kind of epitomize that to me because you just keep going. You just keep doing different. Like I'm for some reason or other, your feed popped up on my Facebook, and here's Bill standing in the ACTRO Awards in Toronto, and I'm going, oh my goodness, we got some stuff to talk about. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun evening. It really was well put together. Yeah.
And you got to see a Leaf game.
And I got to see a Leaf game. I was going to the awards on the Thursday, and I thought, well, I'll just maybe go down a day before if I can grab a ticket.
Oh, cool.
And I did. Yeah, it was exciting. I haven't been to a Leafs game since Maple Leaf Gardens was open.
Oh, really?
I haven't been to the new arena. I've been to the new arena, but not for a Leafs game. But yeah, it's been a long time. It was exciting.
You say that, how long ago did they switch to? It's an ACC still there, Canada Center, or is it a different
name? It's called Scotiabank.
Oh, Center. Of course.
Arena. 20 years.
Oh my goodness, man! Because I remember I saw Gretzky's last New York Ranger game in Toronto, and that was at the Gardens.
Yeah,
that was 99.
Yeah, that's be about maybe more than that. Maybe it was 25 years ago. Yeah.
I have this little piece of trivia for you. So, do you know Steve Thomas from the Leafs years ago? It's Stubby, they used to call him, right? And he holds this interesting record that he scored the last goal a Leaf scored in Maple Leaf Gardens, and the first goal the Leafs scored in the ACC, or at that time ACC.
Yeah.
And I was
that's interesting.
Well, I kind of grew up in the same. He lived just down the street from us. My brother was kind of good friends with him, but he was one of those guys that from our last talk, you had told me something that I told you about you're either in it or you're not.
Yeah.
And I always thought Steve Thomas exemplified being in it because he just never stopped playing hockey. Like we all went off to college and university. He's playing over at the arena, road hockey in the summer. He got signed onto the Marlies. He went through the entire Maple Leaf organization. And then he ends up as a Leaf, as a goal scorer on the Leaf, no less. How crazy, nice. Right?
That's nice, yeah. Follow your dreams, Douglas. You know.
It's one of those. So what took you down to the ACTRO Awards?
I've gone down the last couple of years and I've enjoyed it. For an actor or someone in the business, kind of a networking evening.
Yeah, you know a lot of people, it seems.
Well, yeah, I know quite a few. There was some people actually that I wanted to meet, and I did this time. I got to meet some of the members of Actor Council and some of the executive and stuff. Yeah, just keep in touch. It's just kind of a nice evening. It was at the TELUS Theatre at the Royal Conservatory in Toronto on Bloor Street.
Okay, I don't know that when you say
I
Royal
mean,
Conservatory,
I don't know if it's called TELUS, but it's at the Royal Conservatory. Very nice place. Yeah, it was nice. We spent an hour and a half prior to the awards ceremony out in the lobby, and
oh, cool.
you know, just talking, pictures, a lot of pictures taking, and then the awards ran a couple hours, and then back out the lobby, and yeah, just socializing and meeting people in the business, and there was everybody was there from directors, producers,
Oh,
you
wow.
name it. Yeah, a few LA people were there and
Okay.
flew in for it. And yeah, it was nice. Yeah,
Well, I was going to say from the last conversation we had, which I learned a lot about that's very familiar territory for you.
yeah.
You and you look, even from the pictures, you look very comfortable in that environment.
I feel comfortable in it. I but like I'm always grateful to be invited to one of these things, and like any member can go if you're a full member.
Right.
Um, but I feel grateful to be able to do that. The last couple of times I've been down there, I kind of changed my tone about that. And now I kind of feel grateful
Oh,
that I feel like I belong there.
that, that's
You
cool.
know? Yeah. So I felt like I belonged. I don't feel like I'm, you know, um,
An imposter.
yes, an imposter sneaking in or whatever. So it felt good. It feels good, stand and talk to people. And yeah. And really, it was just more of a, hi, how you doing? You're busy, blah, blah, I got to catch up with Colin Mockery, Colin.
I was going to say, that's he. I used to watch him on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yep. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I find he's like almost a comic genius.
He's funny. I've worked on 2 films with him now.
Okay.
Now I'm not going
You,
to say we're best friends or anything, but we know each other.
yes.
And yeah, so he was there. I don't like uh, pulling him aside or anything in an event like that because he can't walk from. I feel bad because he can't walk from 5 feet without him being caught by somebody. And
I'll
can I
bet.
get your picture? Can I get this? Can I get that? But his wife was there. His wife represented a not sure what they call Lifetime Achievement Award from ACTRA. His
Oh,
wife's a very well-known actress and comedian, and she was in Magnetosphere too.
was she?
Yeah, she was a teacher.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, so I got to chat with him for a bit, and yeah, a bunch of other people. Yeah,
No, that I was going to say that there's a certain part with that, and especially when you've worked with him.
yeah. It's more of a hi, how are you? How you doing? Sort of thing. And you're a busy boy. He seems
Well,
to be getting busier as time goes on. Yeah.
I'm sure, like it seems to me that with all the avenues that, I mean, it's kind of like music, but in the film world, there's so many avenues, independent world, there's so much streaming activity kind of going on
Mhm. Yeah.
and all that type of thing. Because the last time we were scheduled to do this, you couldn't do it because you were on a shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. I was, yeah, I did some work here and so I did a bunch of, not a bunch. I did a little bit of, I can't say much about the show because it's NDAs. We sign these NDAs, but
Right, right.
um, I did some background work, which
Okay.
I don't do a lot of anymore, but I did some on this show because it's a good show to be working on. And
Oh,
I
cool.
spent 11 days on it, and yeah, it
Wow.
was fun. That was one of the days that that I couldn't talk to you. So yeah.
So is this something that you can say when it will come out or anything, or you can't, your NDA doesn't allow you to talk about it at all?
Yeah, you can't really say too much. It'll be out
Okay.
this year sometime near the end of the year or something.
Oh,
But
cool. Okay, so
all I can say, it's a very popular series that they film in Sudbury. That's all I can say.
that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
won't
yeah.
I won't take you any further than that.
Once it
But
comes out, I'll let you know, though. Yeah,
no, for sure. Like
yeah,
I'm always finding intriguing all the different things that are kind of working on. And your story is particularly intriguing to me because you've been through so many different walks of life, from a promoter manager early in your
yeah.
career with the music scene. We had a lot of fun talking the last time about that. And then where I met you in the author world, and writing your books. Actually, before I forget, let's post up your books so we can kind of see them. Bill's written
Sure.
2 books. I think you're working on a third, right?
I am. I am. I am working on it. It's very slow going, the third. I don't know. I know you do a lot of writing, and I don't know if you've run into the same thing, but my first and second book constantly worked on it, and it came out smoothly, fast. And the third one, I think I'm lazy, just lazy, because the third one is, well, it's taking me forever. But it's most exciting that I feel that I've written so far. So,
Oh,
but anyway,
that's
yeah.
cool.
So this would be my first book,
Love Lonely.
and that is the second one. Let me hold it up here. It's
And
called
Who Lies Beside Me. Now this is
yeah,
2 books of a future trilogy, correct?
yeah. So this would be Love Lonely is the first
Yeah.
verse, and this, and then it continues into here. And now they both look, and I think we talked about this too. They both look kind of romancy,
Yes.
but it's not. It's that was the publisher I have
Okay.
that decided that's the route they wanted to go because
Cool.
of
Yep.
online sales.
Yep. Get it.
And yeah, anyhow, but it was it's more of a uh, I don't know. I like the suspenseful relationship thriller. That's the way I like to say. It's a
That's
lot of suspense. It goes everywhere.
that's
It
cool.
doesn't, and it's based in Kentucky, and it's based around the thoroughbred horse racing
Oh wow.
industry. Yeah. So yeah,
Now I did not know that. Um,
yeah,
before we go to there, the books you could still get on Amazon, at Indigo, and at Barnes and Noble, right? And
yeah,
anywhere you get
yeah,
books, pretty much.
yeah. Pretty well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Amazon's probably your best bet on there. Yeah.
Yes. Amazon just seems to be becoming like just you order in the morning and it's at your house in the afternoon.
Yeah, yeah. They just print them on order, right?
It kind of scares me because having been in the business background, you kind of realize what has to go on for that to happen.
Yeah,
But it's pretty hard to beat the convenience. I'll tell you,
it is.
it's tough.
It
Like,
is.
you can say all you want about what's going on,
Yeah.
but I'll tell
But
you, when
yeah, but on the other hand, like there's a thing, buy local and all that stuff. But when you do buy from Amazon, the person who created that and or supplied it or the wholesaler supplied it, they are getting paid,
oh yeah,
you know?
yep.
So I mean, we don't get a lot, but we would get paid. Yeah. I could go forever on that, whether I made the right move with publisher or should have just self-published. I really think I should have self-published it, but anyhow.
Well, there's so many avenues, and what I wanted to do was talk a little bit because I think we're on the throes of writing screenplays for the books.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've written. What I've written is I'd like to develop the story from the book into like a series,
Right.
like an 8-part series or something like that,
Yep.
for one of the streaming. So I've written kind of the pilot,
Okay. Okay.
and yeah, about 100-page pilot on it, and yeah, I'd like to do that. I I think we talked about it, but I wrote and produced and acted in a short film last year,
Yes. Yes.
directed, and I have another one written that I'm hoping to do this year. Um, but you apply for grants and
Yes.
different finance. So basically what this boils down to, if you don't get a studio behind it, like a
Mhm.
Netflix or a
Right.
Bell 5 or
Yes.
something like that, then uh, it's very, and you don't get grants, it's very difficult to finance.
Yes. Yes.
So all these projects basically boil down to money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You hear it, Bill, you hear this all the time now, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
whether it's the big studios, whether you, I mean, the numbers that you hear with like streaming services like Paramount and Netflix, and it's like, it's just, there's stunning amounts of money. But
yeah,
like, it seems to be the only way that they can kind of get out. I mean, you can do, as you mentioned, like shoestring budget things like that, but
yeah,
even so, like last year, you know the movie that you produced and directed last year, what was it
yeah.
called?
The mythical cave.
Yes, The Mythical
Yeah,
Cave.
yeah.
So is that available on YouTube?
Not yet.
Okay.
There is a. Uh, I have a little trailer that if you go through my Facebook page, all this
Yes.
stuff. But right now, I've sent it out to film festivals.
Yes.
So if a lot of the requirements on film festivals is if it's been released publicly, then
Oh,
they won't take it.
really? I didn't
So
know
it's
that.
like it's the same system as you've talked to uh, talked about magnetosphere,
Yes,
and
Nicola Rose, the director.
yeah, and it is it's in the system too right now. It's
Yes.
going to be coming out, I think, in July
Yes.
publicly,
Yes.
but Nicola had it in the system for a year now. It's been at film festivals, and we can't release publicly until then. So when I do release, I think it's going to be on probably Tubi,
Okay. Yep.
the
Yep.
channel Tubi,
Yep.
and maybe Prime,
Okay.
places like that. That's my hope. Now it may end up to just being Vimeo or YouTube or, but
Right.
yeah. But yeah, it's just a short film, 12-minute short film. But yeah.
But I mean, you went through the whole thing, and with writing, directing, and really producing the thing, you got the whole thing down in
Yeah.
that life, right? So you kind of been
Yeah.
through it now.
Yeah. I have. And I mean, I could do a bigger one too. It's same logistics. It's just really the money and the organization of it. But yeah, I mean, you rely on the camera people and tech guys to do their part because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not into that. But yeah, it's very interesting. It's a lot of work, but it's very interesting, and yeah, it's kind of grabbed me, and I'm uh, I'm
It
getting right
obviously
into it. And,
it obviously has grabbed you because
yeah,
now you finance that whole thing yourself? So you go out and get the cameraman, you go out and get like the stuff, or did you work with
yeah.
someone else with that?
No, I went in it on my own. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. Now I had applied for grant for it. I didn't get it. I've applied for a grant for my next one, which I haven't heard back yet.
Well, here's hoping.
Actually, Douglas, I went. I don't know if I told you last time. So we're back to your saying you're all in or you're out. But so I'm doing these grants and writing the scripts, and I was going, wow. And I came across our university in Sudbury, Laurentian University,
Yes.
has an online course. I just happened to come across it.
Yep.
Hadn't heard about it, and it's the fundamentals of grant writing.
Really.
So I took the course. and I'm going through the course and I'm going, oh yeah, well I can see why I didn't get that grant. Well, I can see why I didn't get that grant because there's a lot. The lady that teaches it writes grants for a living. That's what she does, and she teaches that.
No
And I
way.
found it very interesting. So I'm hoping the grants I have, applications I have out now, reflect maybe what I learned in the course. So
That Bill, that sounds just so bizarre to me. Like that you
yeah.
have to go and take a course in order to learn how to
Well,
fill
I
out.
don't think you have to, but I wanted to. I
Well,
wanted to find out how to structure things properly. And
because you don't want to waste your time applying to a grant, right? Like that, and
yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Sounds like if you don't have this kind of background or this information, it's pretty important to being successful in getting a grant.
Well, it's yeah, it might. I'm hoping it like quickly brings me up the stepping ladder, because I think people I know people who in the movie industry who do it all the time, so they're so used to doing it,
Right.
they don't have to take a course on or something.
Right.
I'm just trying to get there faster. That's all. You know,
No,
I
that
don't want to put in 100 grants and then eventually get when I want to get one earlier. But
what's so interesting to me in talking with you, Bill, is like the desire to do this hasn't at all diminished even since our last talk. Like you just keep like
oh
you were really at the, and I'm thinking what was a year ago that we talked.
yeah,
I can't believe that it's that long, to be quite honest, because I
I
feel like
think
it
it has
just,
been. Yeah, yeah,
but you were talking about the mystical cave then,
yeah,
and it was, you had the trailer out, I believe, but further than that you hadn't kind of gotten very far. You've gone through that experience, you've done how many other kind of, I'll say, acting roles, and here
yeah,
you're still pounding away want to get a new film done.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I, I enjoy it. You know, I could spend all day on the computer doing this stuff, and
Oh wow.
when I stop enjoying it, obviously you're going to slow down. But it's oh, it's like books, Douglas. I mean, when you had your books out, and I don't, you know, I kind of know which way you went with your publishing, but
Yes.
when you're trying to push a book to
Oh yeah.
publishers or to agents or to anything, I mean, the rejections are just, you know, you could fill a huge binder up with rejections. That's
You,
I
yep.
You do, yeah. And it was a funny story because when I started the book stuff there, I my wife was going to the dollar store, so I said, "Can you buy me a binder? I want to keep all my rejection letters in it." And she says, "Well, what size?" I said, "A really big one." So it's one reason I brought that up. I'm uh, bring that over to the movie industry, and it's the exact same thing all over again. You know, rejection. I mean, auditions.
Oh,
Hundreds. I mean, I did 2 yesterday, and I
really?
did 3 last week. And it gets to the point where you do them, you forget about them because, you know,
It's just part of it.
you do so many and you don't hear another thing about the movie, or, you know. And then every once in a while you get a call and you got it.
So, Bill, tell me, like, this is one of the things that I often think about, because it's just, it almost, you hear actors sometimes in interviews talk about, this is just the process, this is how it works, and you're
Yeah.
just describing this in the same way. But I find it so interesting because it's so opposite to how we're kind of educated.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's, you just got it, and you don't necessarily know why you got one or why you didn't get one either.
Yeah. Sometimes when you get it, you do find out why you got it, you know. Um,
Right.
Most of the time, a director has said to me, um, they have a vision of what they want.
Right.
And most of the time, they'll say to me, I watched your tape for 5 seconds and I knew you're the one I wanted.
No way. It's
Yeah.
that
It's like,
quick.
that's what I had in my mind. And, but there's so many reasons. You do an audition and then that part itself um, is uh, taken out of the movie. So they don't need you, but you don't know that.
Right.
Or, like I'm bald. So maybe the main actor's bald. So they don't want another bald guy. Or,
Ah, okay.
you're blonde, but the main actor's blonde, so they need a dark hair person. Or you just look like someone they don't like, or just if there's endless reasons,
Yep.
like endless reasons. There's a TV show called Mayor of Kingstown. I don't know if you've seen it.
That sounds familiar. Yes.
It's on Crave or somewhere like that. Um, Taylor Sheridan, who
Y-
does
yes. Yes. Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, he does Mayor of Kingstown.
Oh, gotcha now. Now
Yeah.
I'm caught up because he's
That
on
actor, I
fire.
forget his name, the actor that was almost killed with the snowplow there a while back. He's
Jeremy
the main
Renner.
actor.
Jeremy
Yeah,
Renner.
he's the main actor in it.
Okay.
The reason I'm bringing it up is I auditioned for a part,
Yep.
and the casting called my agent, says we want to put him on hold. They called it ping, but we want him on hold. We want him. So we need to put him on hold for a couple of weeks. So that went on and on, and then we didn't hear anything. So when she checked back, said, "Are we still on hold?" And they went, "No, sorry. The scene we wanted him in required a stunt guy for a car chase, and we decided just to go with the stunt guy instead of an actor and a stunt guy."
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's like one of the cases where,
Yep.
I found out, but most of the time you don't learn why. It's just you're not, especially commercials. Commercials, it's all look like you don't fit the part, or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
It's kind of like when you describe it the way you just said it, I kind of think of like an artist painting.
Hmm.
And when he or she doesn't want something in it that they put in it, they just like paint over it. They just
Yeah.
kind of except in like the movie, you're dealing with a real person, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's like, and when you're the right person, it's spectacular, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It works. Yeah. It works. Yeah. It's just, there's a million reasons why, and there's hundreds of people auditioning for the same part. And in my age bracket, which when I got into this, I really was hesitant to get
Okay.
into it because I said to the casting director, there's a casting director that kind of took me under her wings, a young casting director. And I said, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm pretty old. Like, they're going to need me? She said, oh my God, we need people in your age group so bad because we don't have a lot of them.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I mean, they always need the grandpa, right? Or
Yeah. Well,
the
that's
older father
yeah.
or the judge or the lawyer, whatever. But what I'm finding is because of my age, when I audition, I'm up against
Oh,
actors that have been in the business since they were a kid.
right.
So I'm up against the Colin Mockeries or the older actors
Yes.
that have, and there's not many of them because when I see the film, I see who got the part, and I was like, oh, he got that again. He beat me again. I bumped into a few of them. I said, I don't know. I'm going to have to maybe do something to you or break a leg or something. You keep getting my parts. Yeah, they laugh, but anyhow, yeah. So
No,
it's so
that is to me kind of interesting as far as how that comes about. Because I mean, in the last conversation, you were encouraging me to go out here
yes.
for uh for casting stuff, and it's still in my head. It's still in my head. I'm in fact, I think I told you. I think the one casting person you had sent me, she's in Kelowna, Angela.
Yeah, I don't know her. I just had seen that she was based there. Yeah.
So I was. This is the funny part. I thought I had sent my invite out to her for the podcast.
Oh,
I'd written the whole thing, but I never sent it. So post this podcast, I'll be sending because I think it'd be fun to talk to her.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
just
Yeah.
from the set, I get really fascinated. I have to see the movie first, but I
Yeah.
love seeing the special features of how
Yeah.
things come together. And I really like they've had them on Netflix, but how films got made that
Oof.
they're just like I heard the saying years ago, every film is like a miracle
Yeah.
because like the number of things that like it just doesn't work in a like a linear logical format. It just
Oh no.
doesn't work that way.
Oh no.
And I remember seeing Back to the Future, like that huge hit.
Yeah.
And like Robert Zemeckis, I think, is the guy who directed it. And in the back, in this back scene, like it was almost like they didn't know anything about how the thing was going to come together.
Yeah.
Three
Yeah.
weeks into the shoot, they took Eric Stoltz out and replaced him with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Like,
I know
what a
it's
story!
crazy. Yeah, it's nuts what goes on there. Well, the last production I worked on, there was I think about 130, 140 cast or not cast crew
Oh man,
all on set same time, and there was
130?
yeah at least, and they were shooting a scene with a section of the crew over there, and then this section of the crew over here had a whole other setup, and they were shooting another scene over here, all at the same time. It was just like you go in there and you just kind of follow instructions, right?
Oh
Like when
man.
you're an actor, whatever, you bring the set, they bring you to set, and they go, okay, go, and then you just do your thing, and then off you go. It's just there's not a lot of hanging around or anything. So yeah, it's crazy how they organize.
I'm very fascinated by how the whole thing kind of comes together because I just
Yeah,
think like you mentioned Taylor Sheridan now, like he's come to kind of the forefront. I think Yellowstone kind of was the really big breakout for him, right?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
And now he's like seems to be everywhere.
yeah.
And he did, I think it was called Sicario, the movie, and
Okay.
we saw it, but and didn't know it was him that wrote it
Yeah.
until after we loved it. I think it's got Emily Blunt's in it,
Okay.
and what's the other guy's name? He was in Dune. He's I'm forgetting his name. And Josh Brolin. I think
Okay.
I think he was in it too, and it was like one of those thriller kind of with the cartels and crossing the border, government mix up like who
Yeah.
was controlling who. And then at the end, because now of course I always watch for the director. I always watch for like the who
Yeah.
wrote it, and there was Taylor Sheridan, and I'm going like they're completely different, really, than
Yeah.
Yellowstone in many
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. He does one called Lioness.
Yes,
That's good.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen it. Haven't seen it, but
Here's the story. So with him, I because he's into horses and everything. Like these guys, like I read stories that you might have too about how he produces his shows, and they have a at his ranch. The actors go there for 3 months and learn cowboy stuff. They learn how to ride. They learn how they.
really,
He has a cowboy school for all the actors.
Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah, at his ranches, he has two huge ranches. You know that um, he has a B and R ranch, but you know that on the show 666 Ranch.
Yes, yeah.
Well, he bought that. That's his. That's real.
I didn't
And
know
that
that.
these actors go like Tim McGraw and all them that are on like 1867 and all those shows are
Yeah,
his
yeah.
spin-offs. They spend months there learning everything to do with cowboy stuff. Anyhow,
I did not know that.
so it's a lot of his has to do with horses. So my book had to do with horses. So I thought, well, this would be good. So I mailed him to his
Yeah,
ranch a copy of my books,
cool.
and I had a tracer on it, and they did sign for it, so they did get it. But what happens with them, who knows. And I
Well,
have a
then,
nice letter there saying, have a look, have someone read it and see, maybe the secretary will read it and say, hey, this was good, or this.
oh,
So,
right on, Bill. Like, shout out to
yeah.
Taylor Sheridan. Take a look at Love Lonely, right?
Yeah.
Just to get you started, like, because I didn't know it was about thoroughbred racing. So, do you have a background in that?
No, I don't. I just enjoy thoroughbred racing.
Okay,
I did a lot of background work on it prior to in the horse racing industry. I knew a bit about it. I've known people who own horses,
okay,
um, but I'll just give you a quick premise of it. Is uh, there's David, who's the main character, is a Canadian from Calgary, Alberta,
okay.
who grew up on a farm with horses, all that stuff. But he ended up being an NHL hockey player and
Oh,
had to retire early due to an injury. But while he was playing, he met up with his wife in the story. And she comes from like one of the richest families in the United States in Kentucky. And
cool.
through her dad, they met. And the father offered him, when they got married, to move to the States and take over the thoroughbred horse racing division of his company.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then that's how the whole story, everything goes in and out. And she travels the world. She's gone like a lot of the time, which opens up chances,
Sure.
for relationships. so there are relationships outside. Anyhow, but it's all based around the horses and that. But she does other things. Can't give it away, but kind of more spy oriented
Oh,
things for the government while she's away
oh no.
away on the company's business. And she knows every leader of every country, anyhow. And so she's like royalty. Anyhow, that's his wife, and he doesn't know what she does. And as the books go along, he learns more and more and more and more about her.
Oh
And I'll
wow.
just give you one little. She's a it's very woman oriented, the book,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
The women are the very strong characters in the book.
Oh, cool.
uh, and she is like a world elite martial arts.
Oh wow. You got a lot of connections in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Anyhow, so they
Put the
ran
book
into
up
a
again.
problem. They ran into a problem once, and she displayed her
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 abilities.
yeah, anyhow. And the third book, their daughter was born in the second book, and now that I jumped ahead to where her daughter's 10 years old in the third book. And the book starts there, and she has taken on both of the parents' characteristics. So she loves hockey,
Okay.
so she's doing that, and then she loves her martial arts.
Ooh.
And she's like a 10-year-old in a 20-year-old, like 20-year-old mind, kind of
Oh
thing.
man.
Anyhow, that's a little
That's
bit of
cool.
the book.
So put the book back up again here. Put Love Lonely back up here again. So a little bit of shout out here to Taylor Sheridan. So Taylor, you've got this book, and if you just heard the description that William C. Cole told you, followed by Who Lies Beside Me, this sounds like a series you should take a look at, man. That's very, very cool. No, that's
Yeah,
that's I did not know what your books were about, and I
yeah.
found it fascinating how you put that together. There's a lot of stuff in there, Bill.
There's a
That's
lot of stuff. It keeps going. Yeah. Yeah, I get, well, as you would too, you get messages. Well, not so much now because they've been out for a while, but a lot of my messages were, this has got to be a movie. This
yeah,
has got to be a series.
yep,
Let me be the first one to say this is a movie. I get a lot of that, and I get a lot of which because there's some adult content in it.
yeah, yeah,
Tastefully done, but adult content.
yeah. It's
There's
not
quite
for
a bit in it.
kids.
Not for kids, but I've had parents ask if the kids that I explain could read it when I'm doing book
Yes,
signings. Like I was at Yorkdale Shopping Center doing one, and
yeah.
younger girl, she loves writing and she loves reading, and her dad, I says, well, maybe you should read it first to her dad. She says, no, she'll be fine with it. And I got a letter from him after say, oh, she loved it. It was
Oh,
good.
that's
So
cool. That's
yeah,
cool when somebody
he
takes the
was
time to
actually,
write.
oh God, I could go on with these stories. He was from, well, you know how you meet people on
Oh,
these things.
it's crazy, Bill. It's
This,
crazy.
this guy was from Trinidad.
Oh man. Okay.
And what he does, he's an agent in Trinidad, and he books speakers, throughout the island for the schools, for the government, like if people who do that go on the speaking tour and that.
Right. Yep.
He invited me down to do some speaking about writing and books and that, and I never followed up. I should have, but
Oh, you should still. That
yeah,
would
I
be a
guess not.
pretty neat experience for you, I think, for
Yeah,
anyone actually.
I've had a few invites that are like, whoa, are you sure about that? Like, yeah, anyhow. But anyhow, yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. Well, you know that world. You know
Well,
that world probably better than me.
I'm further honored that you've chosen to be on the Better Than Now podcast when you say stuff like that, because it's like
Oh,
it is such a the connections and the people that you meet. It's it just goes beyond us. That's the
oh
part that
yeah,
it's like because I like my background's science and engineering, and it's like
yeah,
everything fits together, and this is how your clock works, and this is how your car works. And then you find out, like, and you go out to the world, it's like nothing works this
yeah, 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 yeah. Did you find with your books? This is what, like, because I had a business open
Yes.
to the public,
Yeah.
and we were selling the books there. A lot of my customers have read my books,
Cool.
like a lot of them,
Yeah.
and then they come in to discuss.
Oh yeah.
And that's fine. But what took me by surprise was how connected they became to the characters.
Okay.
Like, they would be mad at me because this character did that, or this character did that. I'm going, it's fiction. It's just fiction. I just made it up. But why did he do that? And I hate him, but I love him. It's like, okay. I couldn't believe how attached they got.
I often found that people would, and I'd be probably sensitive to this, but people would say, "I can't believe you think that way."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't think that way. It's
No,
fiction, just like you
it's
said.
fiction. Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
nice to me. It's interesting to be able to explore that. Like you
Oh,
can't.
it's so interesting. Yeah,
There's no
and
other way to do that to me.
that relates so much to acting,
Oh,
the two of them, because I've talked to actors and go, "Oh, I don't know if I could play that role." You know, I'm going, well, then maybe you shouldn't be acting because an
yeah,
actor, you're acting. It's not you.
yeah,
You know, if it's a murderer, you're not a murderer, but you're acting as a murderer. And if you can't take yourself into that space, it's going to be hard to do acting. And because it's not you on the screen, it's the character on the screen.
absolutely.
Right?
No,
Yeah.
it's to me when you say that. I mean, Hollywood was going down this road that if you weren't certain way, you couldn't portray that role.
Hmm.
And I'm saying, well, then it's not acting anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it almost to the extent, if you're not an engineer, you can't act as an engineer. We can only have an actor who's an engineer who's actually an engineer,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah. Well, Douglas, I don't even like the word acting, to be honest with you.
Cool,
So
cool.
if I was teaching a class,
Yes.
I would say to them, picture, you've seen it before where a little girl dresses up like a princess and invites you to her little tea party and her little chairs and her little cups, right?
Yeah.
Your granddaughter, your daughter,
Yes. Yep.
whatever, your
Absolutely.
neighbor. And that kid
Yeah.
is not acting. That kid is a princess. There's no doubt in her mind that she is not a princess.
No, that's a
And
great example. I
if
love
you
that.
can't do that, that's
Yeah.
what you got to achieve in acting is you have to be that princess. You have to be. There's nothing else there is. And that's real acting when them kids do that.
You know what's really kind of fun about this is that's a lot of what my book, The Actor's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in essence is becoming like I think of like I have so much fun in this area, Bill, because it's like I think of I go to like Gladiator as an example, right?
Yeah.
And I see like I think Joaquin Phoenix and that cast helped Russell Crowe win that Oscar.
Oh,
Like
most definitely. Yeah.
like when you see Joaquin Phoenix in that role, he's evil incarnate. Like
Yeah.
and how he does that, like it's amazing to me to watch. And I
Yeah.
think of that like Heath Ledger when he did the Joker in Batman. Like it was so real that it kind of in a way killed him, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just stunning to see that level. I often will go back to The Dark Knight, right, and watch just those scenes because I'm going, what did Christian Bale, who's an amazing actor, feel like in the presence of what he was seeing happen before him?
Yeah. Scary. It's
Like,
scary. It's very odd. Um, when I started, what I found was you'd have a scene with somebody. Now, some people stay in characters. I haven't had a lot of experience with people who stay in characters for lunch and all that stuff.
method
But
acting.
yeah, but uh, so you're talking like you and I, right?
Yes.
We're just talking, and then all of a sudden they go action. Now all of a sudden you're not a nice person, you know? You're a
No.
mean person. I'm like, and in the back of your mind for a second you're going, did I do something wrong? You know? And then
Ah,
it's cut, and then the person's back to normal. It's a real strange feeling.
I'll bet.
What you get used to that,
Yes.
but it is a strange feeling at the beginning to like, oh, okay, this person really doesn't like me, but they're just acting. Yeah, yeah, it's
And in
odd.
turn, that's probably being reflected from you in the scene too, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you're
yeah,
acting.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, like I mean, they teach a million different ways of acting, but one of the ways that's very well taken by actors is you pull off your partner. Like you don't try to fake an emotion or something,
Mm.
but
Yes.
that'll come from your partner that you're acting with, right?
Right.
So if
Right.
they put you in that spot, then yeah, it's so yeah, you pull a lot from whoever your partner is. So
It's like being in the zone. Like when you get
yeah,
that connected well, like it's just
yeah.
astounding.
I did. I don't know if I told you about this movie. I did last year a short film. Um, there's a with a there's a TV series called Letterkenny
Yes. Yes. I know
that they
that
do.
series. Yep.
Well, Nathan Dales is one of the main characters,
Yes. Okay.
and he played in the short film. He played my son.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
That
I might have
works.
mentioned it. I
Yep.
don't know, but
Keep going. Keep going.
I played. It's not out yet. I don't know what's happening. I haven't heard much about it, but I think it's going to do well. I played his father, um, who had dementia,
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes.
and it progressed through the movie to the end. Then we jumped ahead, and I was really gone. And and I found it very, very. It's a very deep, actually, movie, and I found it very interesting because I have had experience with people who've had dementia, and we realized when we started the movie, the director, it was kind of like just a light went on, and instead of making the movie about me, like I'm in every scene, but instead of making it about me, he leaned towards more making it about the people who are around me,
Yes.
close to you, because what I have seen, and I could be wrong, but uh, although I played a doctor a lot, I just don't know about this. But um, the people who have it, they're lost, and they seem happy within themselves. You
Right.
know, they don't know where they are, they don't know who you are, but they
Yep.
seem fairly happy. They're smiling. That so the people that are really hurt are the people around, the wife, the
Yeah.
son, the daughter, and all that stuff. So we kind of focused on that, and it was. I think it's going to be a really good show when it comes out. I think it's going to do well. I'll let you know. I'll update you when I hear something. But
So can you say what that's called?
yeah, well, the working title, which I
Yeah.
think hopefully it's called The Lost Word,
The
and it's
lost word.
yeah because the premise of the movie is I have dementia, but I'm an author,
Oh wow.
and I cannot remember the next word. I knew
Oh
it,
man.
but by the time I get to my computer, I don't know it anymore. Well, you know how so
Yeah.
it's about him. He's a writer, but he's losing it, and he just, he goes, da, 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 he's going like crazy, and then all of a sudden he can't remember, and then he goes somewhere, and then he remembers, but by the time he gets back, it's gone again, and it's all about those struggles.
When
Yeah,
you say that, it reminds me of a couple of things because you mentioned that it's about the people around the person
yeah,
who's going through this, right? And I remember seeing this was a quick take on Keanu Reeves. I think it was Stephen Colbert was asking the question, "What happens when you die?" And of course, we a lot will take that as what happens to us, like we're going to
yeah,
die, we don't want to die, and that we take
yeah,
it internal. And his reply was, "I think it's going to be really sad for a lot of the friends that I know."
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
I thought that's kind of like that's an interesting, even though it you understood it right away. I don't think that's a common response by many people.
no, no. I had an acting teacher teach me if you're dying in a scene, um, remember, when you're dying, you're not thinking whether this is true or not, but you're not really thinking about all the people around you. You're thinking about where
Me.
you're going, right?
Yep.
So it's not like, so it kind of changes the way you act while you're playing that death scene, right?
Yes.
Because you're
Yes.
gone, you're within yourself. Everything else is, so far away
Interesting.
from you. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
So
Pretty
another.
neat.
So the other thing when you said that made me think. So I recently saw the Tragically Hip's documentary on Netflix, and I highly recommend it to people. It's been on Prime, and
Okay,
I think it's 5 parts. And I like if you're Canadian, it's like, oh, you should see this.
watch
But
it. Yeah.
it talks, and towards the end, when Gordon Downey started to struggle with his cancer, brain cancer, and he was being interviewed by Peter Mansbridge,
Hmm.
and they were talking about, and he says one of the things is words, he says, and people. He says that was Gordon Downey saying this, and he says, just to be kind of transparent with you, I have Peter written on my hand here because he said I could just as well call you Doug while we're
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And it was, to your point, that's an awareness of what the person's going through as well, right? And it's often I've talked to even like my mother in particular, and knowing a couple of people that have gone down the road of Alzheimer's and dementia, and she's convinced people are aware that they are going through that. And I don't know that they are, to your point,
yeah.
but it probably affects everybody in different ways. But it's
Yeah,
like, um, it's one of those things that is, that must have been a very interesting role to play, Bill. Like you must have played into yourself a little bit in that world.
it was. It was like I would play. Well, I got right into it, so I was there, kind of thing, and I just like frustrated at times and happy at times, and and then not, and back and forth, and yeah.
Was that one of the deeper roles you've taken?
I think it was the deepest. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that was the deepest role. Yeah, the other one was a small role on Cafe Daughter, where I played
Yes.
a doctor, and I was kind of taking care of the mother passed away and kind of teaching the daughter. Anyway, yeah, but this was I'm excited to hear when it comes out. I haven't heard anything yet about Cafe or about the Lost Word, but I think it'd be good. And Nathan Dales, he's just a tremendous actor. Oh my goodness,
That's
just
cool.
tremendous. And
He was your son in the picture. He plays
he's
your son.
he plays my son. Yeah, and no, we were getting um,
Wow.
a lot of comments like we'd cut and you'd hear in the background, "Oh my God, I can't believe they're not real father and son." Like,
Oh,
oh my God.
that's an
And
ultimate comment. Call,
and
come
then the
on,
director would go, "Okay, let's try to do this whole scene right straight through." There's a lot of dialogue, a
Oh
lot
wow.
of dialogue, and we knew it. We both knew it well. And he said, "I'm going to cut you off when I want to change something." So we went on this scene. I don't know, it felt like it lasted a half hour, but it wasn't. Obviously, the movie's not going to. It's a short film, so it's not going to be. But anyhow, he never cut us off, and at the end of the scene, he goes, "Well, I wasn't going to stop that. That
Oh,
was
that's
magic,
cool.
you guys. I wasn't going to stop that." So that was nice. And then the writer of it was very complimentary. He says, "This, you two guys have taken. Oh, there's other actors too. So you guys have taken this far beyond what I could even have imagined." So it was nice. Yeah.
That's got to be a huge compliment for you in this
Yeah.
craft of
Yeah.
acting.
Yeah. It was very nice because they let us be. They didn't they directed us, but he would start saying to me, the director was great, and he would start saying, "Bill, I'd like you." No, forget it. Just be who you are. Be the character. He'd just stop himself. He'd want to say something, but he didn't want to change what he was
Oh,
saying. You
yeah.
know. So they let us play it the way you kind of felt it. It was nice. Yeah.
So in that world, like I hear often this, but would you move off script?
No, well, I did no on that actually on that show. I don't think I moved off script. I might have moved off actions in the script.
Right.
Like they say, oh, he does this or he does that or he moves like that. Like I don't even read those actions. I never do because I just do what you would do in the
Yes.
moment.
Yeah.
But I think dialogue, I think we stuck to it almost word for word. I really do.
So to me, like that's pretty cool that a writer can capture that and then you can put it into play with another person.
Yeah.
That a writer comes back and tells you this is beyond what I conceived it. Whatever.
Yeah, it was a very nice compliment. Yeah, yeah, and we didn't take
I
it lightly. We really wanted to make this work for them, and
oh,
yeah,
that's neat.
I have a little thing I do with directors. When I go on set and it's a role,
Yeah.
I will on the first you do a rehearsal, right?
Right.
You do rehearsals first. On the first rehearsal take, I will change a word or two or add a word or two.
Okay.
See how the director, without very subtly, without see how the director acts.
Like a test.
A test, and more than not, I'll get no, don't say that, or that wasn't in there, and then I'll know from that point on. No, they want it every word exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then some will let you go, and that's fun too. But yeah,
So when you're doing something like this, Bill, and the reason why I ask this is kind of what I remember going through from a book signing point of view and your taglines and your little elevator pitch. How long does it take you to take a script and, for example, to commit it to like who you are? Like you're taking the words over as the actor as your own.
yeah,
How long does that take on average? Like, does it take you a long time to go through that, or is it fairly
to
quick?
learn the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes me a long time. Some people are really quick at it, but um, hundreds of times I'll read the script. Hundreds and hundreds. I go through it because I'll do my lines. I have my lines posted. Like I'm sitting at my desk right now.
Yes.
If I was doing a movie next week and I had a part in it,
Yes.
the lines would be posted on my wall,
Oh, really? Okay.
and I would go through them. And I would go through them before I sat at the computer. I'd go through them, and then I'd take a break, go through them, and everywhere I go, I have them on my headphones and my phone. And if I go
Oh,
for a walk, I'm listening to them. And yeah, I just yeah, because when I get on set, I don't want to have to pull the sides, like the script or the sides for the day. I don't want to have to pull it out and try to remind myself what I want to do. I
okay.
want to know it.
Okay.
Now, the odd time you might have to, but I've been very fortunate that I was taught early that if you're going to be on set, be on time and be
Okay.
prepared.
Right.
Because I've seen actors get upset at other actors because they don't know their lines, and they're like, "You're wasting my time."
Oh,
You know,
really?
like you're wasting everybody's time, and it's expensive to do these shows if you have to retake, retake, retake.
Right.
But when I figure I know them that I don't even have to think about them, I still go another 100 times, hundreds of
Interesting.
times. Yeah, I spend days and days and days just doing lines. Even with my auditions, I do the same thing. Um, it,
They become
I
you.
want to when I get to a set with a role, I want to be in a position where I don't have to think about the lines.
Right. Right.
I'm just responding to whatever the other actor's saying. And if it's a monologue I have to do, then I just do it, and I've been fortunate. I'll tell you the truth. When I'm driving to set, and I'm terrified not to be on set. I'm terrified about my lines, you know.
Okay.
But once we start,
Yes.
it all
You're
goes
in.
away because I prepared for it. So yeah, tip for actors: if you think you're prepared, you're not. Continue preparing.
That's that's kind of almost a rule for life.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not ready. You're not ready because it's like you're repeating those over. So is it? Is the process like committing it to memory? Like I think of like I'll go for like the elevator pitch as an example, right?
Yeah,
I would literally I would write something, for example, down.
yeah,
Then I would say it out loud, and often it would change because that's not how I wanted to say it.
yeah,
Then as you got more familiar with saying it, it would change again
yeah,
until
yeah,
this is actually coming out of me.
yeah.
So when you're doing those lines, do you first like commit it to memory, or is it the repetition that brings it into your memory, or how does that work for you?
Yeah. Well, I've learned
Because you
that I'm,
can't change the lines, right?
you don't. I
Yes.
mean, unless they want you to, but
Yeah. So you got to
uh,
figure out how to do it with the lines you've been given.
yeah, I don't. When I'm learning the lines, I think it's repetition for me. Because when I'm learning the lines, I try to learn them without actions.
Oh,
You
okay.
know,
Yep.
oh, he saw somebody, wave to him, hi. Or I try not to do that. I try to do hi. I try to learn without actions, simply because when you get on set, it's not going to be what you think.
Ah, right.
If you're serving someone at a bar and
Yeah.
you have this visualize this bar, this, that, and then you get there, it's like,
That's
well,
not the bar.
that's not what I figured it was supposed to be. It throws you off, right?
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
try to, but I've learned that I'm a visual learner.
Okay. Okay.
So I do write it out, the lines. I'll write my lines out over and over and over and over and over
Oh,
and over.
really?
Yeah, I do a lot of writing. I mean, typing, on the computer. I don't physically write them, and I'll go on Word program and I'll just the lines, and then I'll do them again, and then I'll do them again, and then I'll do them again.
This
Because
is
I'm
coming from your memory when you're typing this into the computer.
well, yeah, or I'm reading when I'm first starting.
Oh, really?
And then as the more you do it, the less you have to look what the lines are. And
Okay.
then I still do it like reading them too and recording them. But I find I learned a lot more because I when if I'm stuck on a line or something, I can almost visualize that paragraph or that line.
Ah, okay. You can
You know?
see it in front of you.
Yeah, like I can almost visualize. Oh, yeah, that's where we're going. That's
Okay.
how I learn. Everybody's different. Everybody is different. Um, but I learned by a lot of writing of it and
Yes. Okay.
repetition, repetition, repetition. Like if you see me driving, if I have a role next week and I'm driving this car, I'm doing the lines. People are like, now with you talk on your phone, so people don't think you're crazy. But before the phones come, people would think you're crazy. You're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But I don't try to visualize the actions, and I don't try to visualize the scene and what's surrounding me in
Right.
the room
Right.
because it's always different than what you think, and that can throw you off. Yeah,
Yeah, because like to your point, like you can get a word that relates to what you're seeing.
yeah,
Then when you go into the thing and that's not there, your word's not there either.
completely different. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
It's a real interesting process. It's hard work. I'll say that. For me, it's hard work. Like we get paid good when we're on set, but we don't get paid to prepare.
No, right.
And oh my goodness, the hundreds of hours you spend on them. And I'm not kidding you. Like it's hundreds of hours, depending on the role. I mean, if it's a, a one-page scene,
Yes.
wow,
It's
you
different.
can pick that up fast. But
Right.
if you got I don't know, a lot of scenes, so yeah,
But you're like even with the page or a few lines, you're no less prepared coming to the set. It just doesn't take as long.
it doesn't take as long. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because it's
You're
often
gonna,
I think like how like Hollywood in the past has portrayed actors like this wonderful joyous life and you're relaxing on a
oh
beach all the time. It's
goodness,
like, well,
so different.
when did DiCaprio learn all his lines if all he's doing is out partying and lying on a beach? Like, is
Yeah,
he that good?
some people can do that, but well, I'll give you a Hallmark movies,
Okay.
okay? Or Great American Channel movies, which is Hallmarky. That's what we do here. They have 15 days. That's all they're allowed to shoot the film.
Wow.
And everyone I've ever been on, 15 days. So they have to shoot
Wow.
that whole film in 15 days. So they work, them actors work
Oh,
12, 13, 14 hours a day. And in that 15-day period, they might get one day off. And they work all those days, and all they're doing is lines, and
wow.
it's it's hard work. Like they're burnt, these
Wait.
people.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
believe that. No, it's I can totally understand. Like
yeah.
that's a lot.
It's hard work. Yeah, it is hard work. It's not there are times, I guess, when they're, going to their premieres and stuff like that. But
Well,
it's tough work. Oh, I did a Hallmark movie called Country at Heart. I was a bartender, a small role, but um, I work with they're pretty well known actors. Jessie Schramm. I don't know if you know her. She's been on numerous movies. There's right now she's on Chicago Med. She's one of the main doctors
okay,
on that TV
okay.
show. Chicago Med. She Once Upon a Time. There's a film, TV series she was on. Yeah, she's been on. She's been a child actor right up. But her and Now Matters, and anyway, when we're shuttling from base camp to the set, it could be a 10-minute ride, half hour, whatever. We're doing lines all the way there.
Wow.
Like we're not talking like, okay, let's do lines. Okay, bam, bam, bam. Okay, let's do it again. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah. There's no downtime.
It just it's just part of being there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, to me, one of the things that I find, and that, like I said, I mean, yeah, acting has always been an intriguing thing. I've never really done any of it, but I mean, it was a theater arts in high school and things
yeah,
like that were fun, and that's hence why I wrote the book. But it's not
yeah,
really an acting book. It's more of I'll call it a mental illness delusional book.
yeah.
But the but in practicing some of these things that you learn how to do, like the first exposure I had to that was in the book circuit and doing the book signings, right? Because it really became
Right.
apparent to me when somebody asks you what your book is about, you can't go there and say, well, it's kind of about an engineer and he falls in love, and there's this part at the beginning, like no one
Yeah,
wants, it's like asking a person, well, what's the movie you just saw about? Like, that's usually a mistake, right?
yeah, yeah.
Because you'll have no idea what it's about. And after about 10 seconds, you don't want to hear anymore. But then you go through that, okay, this is what I need to say. And I need to say it in about 15 seconds or however. And how it starts to morph into like but those words are coming from somewhere else.
Mhm.
They're so, to your point, they're so part of you that you don't like, and I've always thought like getting to that point in an acting role must be kind of neat, because you do, to your point earlier on with kids, you become someone else, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
It's
it's what Jeff Bridges says, what I get to do for my whole life is pretend.
exactly. That's exactly what we do. We get to play. We get to pretend. Yeah, live a
And
pretend life. There, just like I think we may have mentioned this, but we're talking about. I was saying about don't try to think about what the scene's going to be like or what
yeah,
you're going to be surrounded by. Like on Magnetosphere and on Cafe Daughter,
yes,
I was the doctor on both, and we were working with children. And when you see the movies, you'll see that I'm talking to them. They're on, either they're on a couch, or well, actually in both movies they're on a couch. So I'm talking to them. We're going back and forth, and they're, picture. So while we're shooting, they're shooting the kids, and you hear me. And when it's edited, we go back and forth, see me, see them. But anyhow, so we do the whole scene while filming um, on both shows. And then when it came time for the turnaround, which is, well, they turn the cameras and they shoot me, the kids had to be wrapped
oh,
because of time. They're very strict with kids.
right,
So they cleared the room. Kids are gone. The other actors are gone.
oh
Uh,
wow, yes,
like I was with on Magnetosphere. yeah. So the three actors left. So now my scenes, when you see my scenes on Magnetosphere, when you see the close-ups of me, I'm talking to a window, and their cameras are here, and there's an X on the window, and that's that person. X over here, that's that person, and I'm doing my scene that way. And then on Cafe
Wow.
Daughter, the cameraman's sitting there with the camera on the couch, and we put an X on the side of the camera because you can't look at right on the camera. Put an X on the side, and some guy standing way back there is doing the kids' lines, calling out his kids' line, and I'm acting as if I'm talking to the kid.
Oh, wow.
So you think, oh, I'll see your eyes and I'll talk like this and all that, but when it comes to you're talking to a camera or something, and but it works in the end. But that's why I
Yes.
say if you visualize being with that kid, how I'm gonna, and
No,
this, and then just like,
it's
what?
gone. I can't do this.
That happens quite often, actually.
Well, it epitomizes this little saying I used to say is nothing is like what it seems, right? Nothing is what it seems.
Nothing's what it seems. No.
And when you're watching films in particular, like you don't know what's behind like what you're looking at, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you've got this picture of what it is,
Yeah.
but that's for sure not what it is because there's a camera that's recording what this
Yeah.
person's doing, right?
Once you were on a set if you did background once on a set, you would see, yeah, it's amazing. Like you'll see every scene you see in a movie, you see the person. Like right now, if I'm talking and I'm on a movie, you
Good.
see me. But there's 50 guys standing around, or women, and they're all like everywhere, hiding under here, hiding under there. Could be hiding under your desk. I had a director once. I did a film last year, feature film, and the director sat right beside me with his head underneath, like where he couldn't
Oh.
see the film. And I'm like, and then it cut, and then he gave me instruction. And, oh yeah, it's strange.
Well, this is why you say like you have to be prepared, right? Like, and if I guess you only learn once with kind of IQs, and you won't do it again, right? Like it's just
Yeah,
like one of those things that like, what are you doing sitting beside me? That's distracting. Well, get over it, buddy.
yeah, I'm here. Yeah, yeah, and and they never shoot a film the way in order way you see it. You may shoot the last scene first or the mid scene second or last or just yeah.
Well, I'm going back to this Netflix series I seen. It was Pretty Woman,
Yeah.
and they were commenting they had no idea. They said like as they filmed it, like this is a mess. This is a mess because
Yeah.
and to your point, they're not filming it in the order. Excuse me,
Yeah.
of what's happening. I think of even Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie
Mhm.
where Rami Malek played Freddie Mercury, and they said they started that movie with the concert scene from Live Aid,
Okay.
and it's like, well, there's a test.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, wow, the rest of the movie's gone.
Yeah. Well, the editor is very important in a movie. I've heard actors go, "Oh God, that was a mess. I have no idea how that's going to be moving." Then the editor puts it together, and yeah, very important part.
Well, there's an online thing of Star Wars with the George Lucas did before he had a viewing of it and what he put together. Whether this is real, Bill, or not, but it's to your point, and what the first cut of what he put together they show, and then they show what I think it was his wife actually that was the editor for Star Wars,
Oh yeah.
and it's a stunning like if it had been what he originally put together, I don't know anybody would have even gone and seen it.
Huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Editors have a lot to do with it. Yeah.
It's
I
like,
remember watching an interview with Brad Pitt, and
okay,
you know that movie they did. It was a long movie, Hollywood something or other.
the Quentin
Uh,
Tarantino movie.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Hollywood, or
Oh,
Brad Pitt, and
yes.
there's a bunch of them in it.
DiCaprio was in that,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and it was kind of an
He said
offshoot
we
with the
walked
Manson.
away. We said this is a. He said I've been in business a while. This is a mess. I have no idea how they're going to make a movie out of this.
Oh,
And he
really? I
said
hadn't
the
heard that.
editor, when he saw it, he said the editor just like just put it together somehow. And he said we were just shocked that they had the budget
Really?
for that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Well, it's well, I mean, Quentin Tarantino has kind of shown his his capabilities in a number of movies, right? But
yeah,
I've not heard that about that movie. Why
yeah.
can't I
It's like
remember what it's called though? Like
Hollywood.
Down and Out in Hollywood or something like that, or
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
but because we quite like that movie actually, and it was interesting because the subject matter kind of touched on the Manson world
yeah.
and like the ranch in Hollywood that they went to. And somewhere after I read this book called Chaos by Tom O'Neill,
Hmm.
which is all about because he spent um, this guy originally got this job somewhere in the early '90s for the Omni magazine to write an article on the I think it was the anniversary of the Manson murders,
Okay.
and as he started to get into it, it took on and it became a 20-year project.
Oh wow.
And the book is called Chaos. It's like the music and something of the 60s or 70s. But it's a stunning book to read if you're all in that because he brings everything from MK Ultra to the Beach Boys to all the people that were connected with the Manson world. And that's why he called it Chaos.
Right.
And so when we saw the Tarantino movie, the Hollywood Tarantino movie, it was like, oh, okay, this is kind of where it is. Because, I mean,
Yes.
that's like 60 years ago now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that,
Yeah.
I think, was one of the first really publicized kind of serial killer stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Helter
Yeah.
Skelter and all that.
It was good. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, that's what he said about it. So, editor has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they win a pretty big award at the Oscars.
They should. They should. Yeah.
And I think you've got to be of a certain makeup to do that because it's like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so detailed.
I had a little taste of it with my short film. Like we had filmed a
The
lot.
Mystical Cave.
Yeah, and in a short film, you for film festival purposes, you need to stay at a certain time. You're below, So there's stuff that you cut that you like.
Oh, man.
What are you going to do? I had the most fun with doing that was scoring it myself, like all the
Yes.
music and the
Yep.
sound effects, the birds and chirp, all that stuff. I think that was the most fun doing that. Yeah, it was fun.
So, like, in doing that, to me, like, I think today, I have to be in a different mode because you can't rush that, I don't think.
No, 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 you don't
And
rush that.
and it's like, and I'm often kind of trying to fit as many things in a day as I can.
Yeah,
As I can. And I'm
yeah.
thinking like, oh wow, how do they? And yet, when it's done, like sound editing, another big award, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It makes or breaks a movie in many
It
cases,
does.
right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I just found it interesting. Just like you want a loon,
Yeah.
in the background, but you want him on the right side, so you pan him to the right side, and little things like that, and then the EQ of it all. And yeah, I had like 45 tracks
Oh,
that I had recorded or used sound effects or whatever. But I have my keyboard and all that stuff, my guitars, and I did all the music myself and
of
stuff.
course. Well,
But I zone in when I do that. I come downstairs in the morning to my desk and I just zone out and I just do it and I put my headphones on and I love doing that part of it. Yeah.
oh, that's cool. Well, when you say that, it's like this came up in a conversation the other day, and I remember this because I remember in Apocalypse Now. So when it came out, so that was in the late '70s, I think. And I mean, I remember because I think I was underage going to the movie, and it was like that was a big thing, right? And it was
Yeah.
like there's this scene in it, and I think it's Lawrence Fishburne, like an underage Lawrence Fishburne. He's doing like all this comes after, right? They filmed it in the Philippines and the
Yeah.
difficulties he
Yeah.
had because he had to finance it himself from the Godfather series because nobody was interested in doing a
Yeah.
Vietnam type flip. Anyway, they're going up this Ganges River in this boat, right? This military boat they have. They got Martin Sheen, of course, there, and they have this surfer guy from California, and they decide to get him to water ski behind the boat. And they play the Rolling Stones' I Can't Get No Satisfaction.
Hmm.
Now, Bill, I remember that. Like, that's well, it's a 40-year-old memory for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
But I often wondered, like, how did they come up with that music for that scene? Because it's so dramatic to me. It's like
yeah,
like the rest of the world's like hanging out in their hippie bars listening to the Rolling Stones hit, and
yeah.
these guys don't know whether the next motion they're going to take is going to be a gun bullet in the head or whatever. And they're both listening to this song by the Stones, right?
That's neat. Yeah, that's neat.
And like when you say that, like matching like the loon, like all of those things make a difference in the film, right?
I think so.
Oh
I
yeah.
think so. Yeah, yeah.
And
Like,
that's why I often wonder, like, I mean, I don't know whether you were involved with this with Magnetosphere or with the Lost Word, but like, how do they come up with what the background music is going to be?
yeah, yeah. I don't. I'm not involved with those. Yeah, I wasn't involved in that part of it. Those I was just acting. You go in, you act, you leave. And you leave it in their hands. If you do your own thing, like I did, I
Yes,
wanted to take on that part of it. I could have had someone do it, but I wanted to do it myself.
because you can.
Yeah, yeah, and I find it fun. Yeah, like even
Oh,
just like when we're in the cave, it was a small cave, but I wanted, even though you couldn't see it, I wanted you to hear water dripping. So I put that in, and I wanted this, this, this. Yeah, so
but that's real. Like that's what you would hear, right? Like that's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
really there. So, the Mystical Cave is not out yet. You're
No,
trying to still get it in film festivals.
yeah, it'll be like, I've sent it to all the ones I want, and I don't think I'm going to send it to any more. We've
Okay,
been rejected by quite a few so far. They're hard to get into.
I'll bet.
Like they'll get 5,000 submissions. They're only taking 200 films. So
Oh, I just can't imagine.
yeah, but so probably in the area of September, I will have heard from everybody, and
Okay,
I'm not going to do another round with it. So I'm going to use. I'm going to use a couple of distributors that probably can get me on Prime and on Tubi. Tubi is a good one for people like me
okay,
because uh, then you can maybe make a little bit of money on it. Like
right.
Tubi pays per commercial
Okay,
because Tubi's free,
right,
so they play commercials. So every commercial so if someone sits through the whole thing, they might have had two or three commercials.
right.
Someone only sits through a bit, they only maybe one commercial, so they pay per commercial. Um, That's changing a bit because I think Amazon bought it. So
Oh, okay, I didn't know
I
that.
think I don't know. I don't know much about that part, but yeah. So we're gonna try to get it on a couple of different uh, areas. But
Well,
I'll put that on my Facebook page. Go to this link and you'll see it. Or whatever. Yeah, yeah,
no, no, for sure. That's
yeah.
so. Do you have anything coming up, like where you are right now? Like anything? I mean, you're doing auditions every week, you said, but have you got anything like that you know
Nothing's
you?
booked. No, nothing's booked. Just the auditions, and I'll know in August whether I get the grant. If I get the grant for the next film, I'm gonna short film.
Oh,
I'll
okay,
start that shortly after, and uh, yeah, it's gonna be just a two actor. The me and the young lady that played in my mythical cave.
oh, okay, okay.
Such a great actress. Um, so I wrote it for just the two of us. So we're gonna have that father's daughter kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool. So
Yeah,
you write, direct, produce everything on this.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Wow, that's kind of cool to me.
yeah. Kept the books. Yeah, it is actually, Douglas. I'll send you a copy of it. Um, you can't give it out to anybody or anything, but I'll send you a copy of it so you can watch it.
Well, it'd be really interesting to see, and
Yeah,
like
I should have thought of that before, but
because I mean, in getting to have these conversations with you, you're getting to know a little bit, and it's be like interesting to see that in on the screen
Yeah.
is what I'm
I
saying.
should have thought of that before. I could have sent you a link to it, and yeah.
Well,
But I will. I'll send that to you today.
it's funny because I often, before going through having these conversations on Better Than Not, I don't tend to want to know a lot
Yeah.
because what ends up happening is that's all I talk about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, that's okay.
and I often want to know a little bit more about like what's going on and what you're doing, right? Like who
Yeah.
you are. And to
Yeah.
me, it's like you've kind of given a little bit of acting class today. This is kind of cool, actually, I think.
Yeah. Personally, I had a knee replacement surgery in December.
Oh, you did?
I have a new knee. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's way off topic.
Well, you know what? When you say this, this is one of these kind of funny stories. It's weird that you actually just said this. So before this, I usually do a workout or I go for a run.
Yeah.
I've been off running for, I'm going to say about 6 months
Yeah.
because I did something to my knee
Yeah.
and I don't know what it was. Like I've had kind of a couple, I'll say tumbles, but those tumbles, I got up and walked and no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
So I'm going into this. I'm going to say this is around. So this is all to your knee replacement thing because I would like to expand on this a little bit further. So this is going to be October and I go for this run and it's like I can feel things moving not only in my knee but and almost like a click on a run.
Mhm. Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt at all. But I'm going this is weird. Anyway, I finish and that night it didn't really swell but it got really stiff.
Yeah.
So and I've been a runner for most of my life. So like
Yeah.
I'm starting to think, oh my goodness, well, don't go out and run again because I want to be able to walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just decided I'm going to rest. I'm going to take a rest. I'll do walking regularly and thinking maybe this is the last time I get to go for a run, right?
Yeah.
Well, the last 2 weeks, it's suddenly like, no, I won't say suddenly. It's just gradually gotten less and less sore and less stiff when I get up.
Yeah.
Well, today I went for a run. Like my second run. It's not when I say a run, Bill, I'm not going for like
Yeah.
10K.
Yeah.
I'm literally going because I've learned this. I'm literally going like a 5 to 10 minute almost around the block.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm sitting here and it's feeling great. And
Well,
so
that's good.
I'm
Yeah.
going, okay, so what's going on here? So now you brought this up.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Running.
Oh, really?
Because I used to love to jog,
I did not know that about you.
but at least almost 10 years, 8 years ago or whatever, I was out jogging like you, and something just went poof, and my knee just went poof, like really
Swole?
swollen. I walked home, I limped home, and anyhow,
You, you
long,
didn't trip or fall or anything.
no,
This is just running.
just went, yeah. But in hindsight, it had been hurting,
Okay.
and I had been walking.
You're
Went
right.
back like you're saying, exactly what you're saying. I had gone back to walking, and on the treadmill, I started walking instead of jogging. And then when I was outside, and then one day I thought, well, I was feeling better, so I went, and poof, it went. And it was my meniscus. I shattered it. Um,
Just running.
yeah. Oh, I lost you, Douglas.
Oh, are you still
Oh,
there?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Good.
yeah. So yeah. Anyhow, so eventually I went for an MRI, X-ray MRI, and the meniscus. So he went in. About 5 years ago, he went in and he scoped all the broken parts out, and it just got worse and worse. And it got so bad. I was going for cortisone shots, and it was so bad that
Oh, wow.
it became bone on bone,
Oh,
and
okay.
then my leg got all crooked because it was all going the wrong way. Anyhow. So in December, he'd been bugging me for the orthopedic surgeon's been bugging me for 4 years to get my knee replaced. So finally, I gave in. And I was thinking because I was still walking.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
with that gone, I still go out and walk. It would hurt. I could hear it crack. I could hear everything. But uh, so, and then I started thinking I didn't want to get it. I said, well, I still walk. I still bike a lot. I said, well, it's up to you, but it's really bad. And I said, well, started thinking, well, maybe I should get it done when I'm healthy.
Ah, right. That's smart.
And because I don't want to be unhealthy and have to get it done. And so I did. I got it done in December. And because I did a lot of exercise with my legs, stretching and walking and biking and weights and stuff, I recovered so fast. Like it hardly, like everybody's different.
Yes.
Everybody has a different experience, but my recovery was extremely fast. I'm out biking, I'm out walking now. I can do it. And I asked him, I seen him a couple months ago. I said, what are my restrictions? You know, he says, none. I want you to use
Awesome.
it as if you were, he said, running. I said, yeah. He says, yeah, go ahead. I said, I don't think I'll run, but
Well,
um,
that's cool. That's very
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So, and now my other one's gone. So I'm going to do that in December.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, but it feels like an 18-year-old's knee. Yeah, like you can't feel anything because it's
Unbelievable.
mechanical, right?
Unbelievable.
So yeah, I was. They literally, I don't know if you've watched videos or whatever on knee
No,
replacement.
I have
They
not.
literally cut your leg in half,
Oh, yeah.
and then they take the whole inside out. I know it's gross, but they
Oh,
literally cut both bones in half. And the reason I'm saying that is because I had the operation. I got out of the operating room at 11:30, and my wife and my son picked me up at 5 o'clock,
that's the amazing part to me.
and I walked in the house. Now with a walker, but I walked in the house. They had me up
Unbelievable.
walking an hour after the operation.
That's what cures us. That's what makes it better because you're moving, right?
Yeah.
That's
Anyhow,
unbelievable.
long story short, I'm really glad I did it. I'm really glad I did it when I was healthy. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was going to say that is I'm gonna say that's a great way for us to end because I think I'm running out of battery power for some reason or other.
Yeah, I might be too.
But I can't believe you brought up the knee, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking today
Same thing. Yeah.
how crazy that is. But
There you go, Douglas.
so you got another knee going. Anyway, Bill, before we wrap up, let's
Yeah.
anything you want to say in closing. This has been an awesome conversation, by the way,
Oh
as
no,
it
we'll
was
go.
last time.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again
I
sometime.
hope we can do it in the fall when your stuff comes out. That'd be kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, yeah, for sure.
that is great.
Maybe I'll know more about the other, and maybe we'll have some more roles by then. Who knows, right?
Well, we'll keep praying for you, man. I hope those roles come. Like that's very, very cool.
Yeah,
I can't tell you how much I appreciate this, and I'm hoping you like this particular episode of Better Than Not.
I do.
And
I really enjoy talking to you, Douglas.
so I'm gonna kind of wrap up here. I was gonna say if you see William C. Cole on any credits, go and see it. Magnetosphere, you don't want to miss that. And with what Bill's already talked about around the lost word, there's another movie you want to see. And pick up his books, Love Lonely,
Yeah.
and the second one,
Who lies beside me?
Who Lies Beside Me. And by
Yeah,
the way, get Taylor Sheridan. Take a look at those books.
yeah, Taylor, come on, get with it.
We're going to wrap up and say goodbye. If you can stay on for a minute, Bill, just to make sure we get a download, that's great.
For sure.
Bye for now.
See you guys.
Are we on? Good. Welcome to the Better Than Not podcast. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. But when we at least do something, we know it's almost always better than not.